Well, all right. Here we are. Back again. Episode 53. I think we're on.
I guess, yeah. Yeah,
53. Well,
53 sounds about right.
since I don't think I'm gonna, like I said, I don't think I'm gonna put out that other one I'm gonna try and see what I'm gonna go back and re-listen to it. But this intro is for 53 with Phil Johnson, who's a comedian that I met on the road when I was doing San Diego gigs. I met him and another guy actually that I'm planning on hitting up to get on, Joe Sib, who is he's used to be in a punk band in the '80s, popular punk band called Wax, and I ended up hanging out with him and Phil, which is kind of funny.
Oh, what, down in San Diego?
Yeah, in San Diego, yeah.
All right. Well, should be a good time.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to talking to this dude. He hit me up. I guess he's still doing. He's out on the road. I mean, I think he's from the Bay Area. I mean, we'll get to talking to him, but that's where I think he resides in like San Jose or something like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. You know, we'll get to talking to him, but I don't know exactly what where he's been going and how work's been going for him.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine he's really going many places, you know?
Yeah, I mean, most people are still working in like Texas and like Arizona and
Oh, yeah.
shit
Yeah.
like that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, but I think you said he was from San Jose.
yeah, but he's a road comic, like legit. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like he travels. He was the headliner when I was out there. So,
Mm,
but he's a good dude, funny guy.
yeah.
Been in the game for a while, I'm sure. So yeah, we'll get to talking to him. But anyway, how are you?
You know, Groundhog Day, same day, same shit. Nothing has really has changed much. I finished season 1 of Cobra Kai actually.
Oh, did
The
you?
other night, finally, yeah. It was fun. It was fun. I don't know when I'm going to start season 2. I'm going to at some point, but season 1 was fun. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, season 2 is much better. I mean,
Yeah.
you could tell they really stepped it up. I mean, I was trying to talk to Garrett about it on Hubcast, and like, you know how those fucking two are. I swear to God, it's like, how are you gonna have a movie review pod or a movie podcast or entertainment podcast when you guys don't even watch fucking TV or or
Yeah,
movies?
it kind of defeats the whole purpose. Like, we're a movie podcast. We just don't watch anything. You know, we're
Those
going to
two,
talk about the
those
same.
two.
We're going to talk about Star Wars for the 99th
Oh
time.
my God, those two infuriate me. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, how the fuck? Like, we were talking about Us.
They haven't seen Us?
Well, yeah, I guess Garrett finally watched it and he hated it and I was like, well, but he hated it for like stupid reasons.
What did he hate it for?
He hated it because he said there was too much unexplained, and I was like, what else do you need? Like, what do you?
Here's
I
the
mean,
th-
and
I,
I'm
I
like,
hear people say that shit all the time about movies, and like they don't need to feed you information.
Exactly.
Some things can be just left
left
untold.
open for like interpretation
Yeah.
or whatever. He's
Everybody wants to suck Chris Nolan's dick. He does that all the time in his fucking movies, or
Right.
like Inception and Interstellar and things like that. But like a horror movie is like, oh, they didn't explain to me like this small little detail, so now the whole movie doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
just fucking enjoy it, man.
Yeah, I know. It was like he was like, well, like where did they get the jumpsuits? Apparently that they forgot about them so who's still making them jumpsuits? I'm like,
There's someone down underground who's in a pole who makes clothes.
makes
There
sense
you
what I said?
Yeah, someone downstairs makes clothes.
It's like, what the fuck? Why
Yeah.
why is that a hang up in the
Hey,
whole?
Garrett, who makes your clothes? Who makes your clothes? Do you know who makes your clothes, or do you
What
just
are you
have them in your
talking
closet? Yeah. Oh God, I can't. Like, I remember I saw the movie with Barte, and he had like a complaint about that too. But it was just the complaint was he just didn't know about things that actually happened, and he's like, that's so fucking stupid. People wouldn't actually like hold hands like across America. Like, that's so stupid and unrealistic. I'm like, no, dude, that's a thing that actually
That
happened.
actually
in the 80s.
happened.
Yeah, no, that was real, and that was like one of the most unbelievable things about Us to him was Hands Across America, because he didn't come to the U.S. until like, I don't know, the 90s when he was like 10 or 11. But it was still like that's what took you out of the movie, Hands Across America. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I was telling them to get into Cobra Kai because I'm like, I don't even know what, like, because I swear I don't even know what their preferences are on TV and movies anymore. Like I thought I thought I knew, but
Yeah,
now I'm like, I don't even know if you guys are gonna like this. Like, because Garrett was saying that he keeps reading that it's like super cheesy and all this. I'm like, yeah, but it's like
yeah,
but it captures like that '80s kind of vibe of
yeah. It still has it, like the book. Like, man, I don't know why. Like critics and critiques are people's opinions on movies. I know everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but just shut the fuck up. Like, oh no, this movie is too goofy. I heard that show's really goofy. I'm like, well, that's what they were going for. Ew, I can't watch it.
yeah.
They didn't explain every fucking detail of something. Ew, I don't like.
Yeah.
Grow up,
I
man.
think people are
Grow
just
up.
way too critical too. Like,
Yeah,
and which I think I'm guilty of too. When like, I really wanted to like Wonder Woman, and
I did too.
and it's like but the thing is we have too many things to compare it to because like I think if we hadn't gotten so much good shit from like the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Mhm.
like those DC movies we wouldn't hate them as much. I think.
No, I don't agree with that. Only because the only thing I was comparing Wonder Woman to was Wonder Woman 1. And so I just wanted to be on par with the first one because I love the first one. I don't fault these movies because of their Marvel counterparts. I fault these movies because of their story. And it's just bad. Like they're shot and directed very well, but it's just the stories are bad,
Yeah.
you know? And that's what takes me out of it. Like Wonder Woman, when we were sitting there watching, I remember a couple times I just looked at you like what happened? Like this is
Yeah.
this is bad. What
Yeah.
they do to Wonder Woman. Um, but also it's the same at the same time. Like I guess I can see what you're saying about the whole Marvel thing because you've seen like where they can take these superhero movies and what they can do with them, and and it's just like you're still doing things. This is like a lot of DC stuff. At least like Justice League is like this would have been all right if it came out in 2001.
Yeah.
2002, but
Yeah.
lacking.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I guess that's just the progression of movies and stuff. Like what we hold everything to a higher standard now.
Yeah, but no, another thing about movies I don't like, and I was just shitting on them, talk about Star Wars all the time, but I'm only bringing Star Wars up because I've seen a lot of it come up online and things like that where people are doing this thing like with the prequels and like other Star Wars movies where it's just like, oh, it makes sense now because they explained X, Y, and Z in some supplemental material. So it's not really a bad movie. It's just you didn't read, the extra credit. And it's just like, no, it's still a bad movie, but the difference is they've had time to listen to what people have said sucks about the movie, and then they can go back and write a little extra book to try to fill in those holes or things that don't make sense in the story to then make them make sense and put it in your face and be like, see, you just didn't get it. They planned this all along.
Yeah.
I was like, no, they didn't. They heard you guys say this sucks because of X, Y, and Z, and they're like, all right, let's go write something real quick that fixes X, Y, and Z, and they put it out there. I'm like, oh, see, it wasn't a bad movie. You guys just didn't understand that was our plan all along. It's like,
Right.
no, it wasn't. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. I shouldn't have to go buy an extra behind the scenes book to get story details in your movie. Like,
Well, I don't know. Those Star Wars movies, I already told you, like, the prequels going back, like, I watched them in a whole different kind of, because I understood the politics a lot more as an adult.
yes, because I remember you sent me this week that video of Dave Filoni talking about the Duel of the Fates and Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yes.
And I'm like, holy shit, like, listen to him talk about that. I'm like, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Why didn't they show that in the movie?
Yeah.
Why didn't they,
It's like implied, and it's implied, and then you have, you kind of have to really dig deep as, like, a Star Wars nerd to really find these answers,
Yeah, and it's just, I always take it as that's a cop-out,
Yeah.
And, like,
I mean,
movies,
watch
yeah,
it again, though, because like I said, I figured that out for myself before I saw that.
Oh no, I watched episode 1 again, and I was so just like, yeah, this is, pod racing scene, Duel of the Fates is great. The lightsaber fight at the end, but even the Battle of Naboo for me, I look at it and just not great lenses. And one of the things that bothered me during the fight in Naboo, you have Queen Amidala and Homie, one of her guards, like running through the palace, like shooting droids and shit. none of them look like they're like in fear or in danger.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Yeah.
do. Oh, we got to get out of here. Like they're shooting lasers past your fucking forehead.
Yeah.
You think you might want to, really like this is an intense situation. It's just like we got to go. Like
Yeah.
you almost died. Like all right. Good job, George. So after rewatching episode 1, I was gonna go rewatch the prequels. After watching episode 1, it just delayed it. I gotta watch Attack of the Clones, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Hey, so I had something weird happen to me. This is completely off topic and probably a little inappropriate, but
What's that?
this is what we do. I had a cum dream recently.
Isn't that just a wet dream?
Yeah. But like just like last week.
Where you came on yourself? In
Yeah,
your
I came
sleep?
on myself in my sleep. Yeah, and it was like, and I was having this like super vivid dream, but I was like with a fat black chick, and I was like super into it.
So go find you a fat black girl. I don't want to dissect your fucking wet dreams, man.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I was like, fuck. I haven't. That hasn't happened to me in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Well, the first time it happened to me, I was an adult. The first time it happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I didn't even think that was possible. And then it happened recently.
No. Yeah, that's weird. Like I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say? Like that's
I don't know.
weird.
I don't know. Maybe I'm oversharing, but there was something
No, I
that
don't think you're oversharing. I'm just like, that's interesting.
it was interesting. Yeah,
I don't know.
Because it woke me up, and then I was like, that couldn't have happened, right? And then and then I rolled over. I was like, ew, yeah, it did.
Maybe it's the lack of anything besides white where you're living now. You had a dream about somebody with some
Maybe.
color.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because I mean, you've had the crazy white ones, the crazy chunky Mexican ones, and now you're just like, maybe I should just move to a different color. You find some saneness. Because these other bitches got me stressed out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know what to. But I've been having some wild ass dreams lately anyway, though. Like, I don't know. It's just, but like extremely fucking vivid, too. Just,
Yeah.
every night's an adventure in my head.
Those are the best, man. Those are the best. Like, for me, like, when I've been having those vivid ones, too, but I've been working out again. And, like, when I'm working out and I'm, like, eating right and things like that, I'm actually getting, like, good sleep. Yeah, I'm off to the races. I'm flying, jumping around, like just wild ass vivid dreams. They're my favorite.
Apparently last night, so like Vince, my roommate, who shares the wall with me there, he's been telling me that I've been, having these wild ass, like, you can hear me having fits in my sleep. And he's like, I can tell when you're having a good one and when you're having a bad one. He's like, because I'll hear you laughing or I'll hear you yelling. He's like, but one night I heard you, it sounded like you were like in your video game. You were like calling out orders and shit.
Oh, man.
And, well, last night he was like, I didn't hear you make a sound last night. And then I was like, I was like, well, I smoked some weed last night. So, and it knocked me on my ass, man. So like I took a little hit, like a couple hits of Rob's joint when he was in here. And then, I mean, and like after that, I just made a bunch of munchies, and then we fucking pigged out, and then he dipped.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm fucking dead, man. So my head hit the pillow, and I was out. And that's really? So Vince's like, maybe that's a secret. Maybe you just gotta smoke weed.
Yeah, smoke some weed and nut on yourself. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I don't know. But I finally got a fucking bed, which is not, man, in it. And I put my bed together yesterday, and I got that memory foam.
And the memory foam, yeah.
Oh God, it's
beats an air mattress, doesn't it?
Oh my God, dude, it's like I lied down on it last night. I was just like, oh yes, thank you. Plus, I got new pillows. I ordered new pillows too, man. I was living like a king last night.
There's nothing. I was thinking about doing the same thing, actually ordering some new pillows. Like, mine are fine, but I'm like, I need a couple more here,
Yeah. I mean, the one, I have like one old, it's like, you pull it out of the case, it's all, and it's yellow. It's
wash your pillows, man.
I do. They're that stained.
Yeah. Oh,
They're from
just
like
all
fucking.
stained
They're like from
sweat.
1996, probably. Who knows?
Oh yeah, you've been needing new ones.
I don't even know where the fuck they're from, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just ordered some new ones on Amazon. But like, dude, shit, like you don't realize how like how much a lot of this stuff costs until you really need it. You know?
Oh, we need it all at once too.
Yeah.
Like it's easy when it's just like, all right, I need a couple more pillows, order pillows, maybe a new comforter, order sheets out of the
Dude,
top,
yeah,
all at
like
once. New bed frame, pillows, all that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I spent easily $500 on all that shit. You know? But that was on a budget. You know, like if I really wanted to get like a fucking
Yeah,
you know,
if really
pillow
wanted to go all
top,
out.
mattress, and all that shit, right? Like if I, you know,
Yeah.
that would have been. I mean, those are like upwards of $700 just by themselves.
Yeah, it's just a mattress. Yeah, about 1,200 to get like the good ones. Nah. But no, so how long did it take you to put the bed together? You get a bed frame and everything too? or
Yeah,
you
it took
just
about
got
an
mattress
hour
and
actually.
box?
It was a lot of small pieces to frame because it's like one of those ones. It came with the little tools and stuff,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of like rods that I had to screw in and shit, and
Yeah.
so it's basically like a middle bed frame, but it's above the ground, so it has like legs that kind of lifted it up, so you don't really need a box frame.
Oh, okay. Well, that works out. At least it's not just a mattress on the floor.
Yeah, well now I can actually put stuff under my bed too. When I realized, and then that was another thing was I finally I had like just boxes in there too, so I finally just
Yeah.
like put.
Shoved them under the bed.
Well, I put them in the closet under the bed, and I went through the final box of clothes I had. Oh shit, clothes I had in there, so
Yeah.
got rid of that. But that's when I realized I don't really have anything.
Yeah.
My room's completely like I have the dresser that's not even mine. It was just here, and then
Yeah. Fuck it.
and then I have now I have my bed, and now I don't have anything in that room. So I've been thinking about getting maybe like a little smart TV to put in my bedroom at least.
Oh yeah, I know. I think Walmart was having deals right now on some TVs, like some 55 inches for like 400.
I don't even want something that big. I'm just thinking like something fucking, just a little thing that I can mount on the wall, like fucking, from OfferUp or something like that,
Yeah. Also, you got to realize 55. Yeah, it's kind of big, but it's really not that big. And those TVs are light as shit. I think you're still thinking about that big ass heavy motherfucker.
Well, yeah,
you got in
it's
your
a
living
50.
room.
That one, it's a 52 that I have in the living room, and
It's heavy as shit.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe I'll put that, but I'm like, I don't even want to put that fucker on the wall because
That big one, no, I wouldn't put it on the wall. It's gonna rip it off.
yeah, it's too
the
fucking
55
heavy.
like the 55 I have in my room, man. Like easy. One of the stairs.
Yeah.
Holding it myself. Holding that one. Like just they're super light, and so it's just better now.
Yeah. I know. Well, and then I want some fucking I need some side tables and shit too. I don't even have any of that stuff going on.
Yeah, IKEA. Build that shit.
Just Amazon, dude. I'm fucking Amazon. I got that bed frame. It showed up in a box this big.
Yeah.
It's just and that's why it took so long to assemble. But I kind of like doing that shit. I don't really care for it. I don't mind it.
What building? No, you got to build shit from IKEA too. I just
No, I know you got to build shit from IKEA. I don't know. I fucking IKEA stuff always gives me I get infuriated by IKEA stuff.
you get infuriated at everything. anything that takes a little bit of focus, you're gonna flip out at some
Fucking
point.
do it.
Yeah.
Well,
like, God damn it! Like, where the fucking screws? Like, right there. Just flip over the fucking.
The last
right
thing I assembled from IKEA was like some fucking thing, some little like table with drawers, right? And
Yeah.
and I had extra screws, and I was like, that can't be good.
No, you're just like, all right, we're gonna see how it works. It's annoying. Once I worked on this set, this small little indie flick I was working on set as a PA, and I thought I was gonna be doing like set PA work, and then I got there. It's like, all right, we just need you to put together like these 6 IKEA desks, and I was just like,
Nope.
I put together one. It's like, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go. Like, the one is a small little indie shit. Like, you're not paying me anything. Oh shit, I gotta go, guys. Like,
Yeah.
sorry. Like, get your other fucking guy. You guys are just standing around doing nothing. And it's
Yeah.
just like, hell no, I'm out of here.
I mean, it would have been easier if I had a
Shit.
drill too. Like, I don't have a drill either.
Oh yeah, they just give you those shitty little Allen wrenches.
Little fucking little Tinker Toys.
Yeah, I think it make my fingers hurt. Why on a Lego playset?
Yeah,
Fucking IKEA.
it's like building an erector set. Remember erector sets?
Yes. Here's the thing, though. Lego, they have all these like fancy, like toys and shit they put together, and they're sturdy. When they're gonna have like Lego desks, Lego furniture, just snap in like,
Dude, yeah,
shit,
yeah. I mean, they
I know
do. They do, but like
they probably break easy.
well, they're expensive. They're expensive because they're basically made for like, they make those notches and shit. That's why they're expensive because they do the extra grooving to like so everything snaps into place. So you have no screws.
Yeah, I wanna make a Lego coffee table now.
Hey, have you ever seen those? What are they called? I think they're called like infinity tables or something. Like Rob was showing me this thing. It's basically like people make these things. They just get these glass tables, and you kind of rip out. You take the bottom out and put a mirror. With like some LED lights in there, and it just kind of creates this like weird kind of paradox. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that actually sounds really cool. I don't know, glass tables, they bother me.
Why?
I don't like glass tables. It's just fingerprints, and I just feel like I'm gonna break it. You know.
Well, that's why they're so fucking heavy. That's where you'll break it is when you're moving it. Like the one I have in here, like that top of it is so goddamn heavy.
Yeah.
It's like I'm always scared I'm gonna smash my fingers every time I have to move it or pull it off or something like that.
No, like I'll find a way. Like I'll be sitting down, like watching TV in the living room, go to stand up, put my hand on it, and then crack, there it goes. Like fuck. Now I got 10 billion pieces of glass to try to sweep up in the fucking living room.
They actually just dropped off a glass patio table for us. Some people from the bar. Yeah.
Where are you guys gonna put it?
It's right here. I put it right outside by the fireplace.
Oh, okay. All right, that could work.
Yeah.
You guys still need to get a hot tub up at that top part.
That's what I'm saying. Definitely. All right, dude. I guess we'll end this little intro. Thank you guys for listening. Fuck, I forgot to go right up top and tell you to go to patreon.com/hitthemics. Make sure you sign up. Exclusive content, exclusive merchandise. It will be sent to you as long as you fucking give us some money.
Also, keep a lookout. We got a little project we're doing this weekend.
Yes.
That should be out February 8th. Some fun stuff.
Yes.
Some shit we're doing.
Yes. And we're doubling out 2 episodes this week. I don't know if I'll shell them out. I think I might backlog one. I don't know. Maybe I'll just dump them both. You get a little bonus episode this week.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll see how I feel. Either way, thank you guys for listening. Check it out. This is episode 53 with Philip Johnson. Okay, welcome to another episode of Hit the Mics with Ryan D. I, of course, am Ryan D.
Yo, and I am Steve Rogers.
That's right. And today we have a very special guest, a man I haven't spoken to in a while, a man I met on the road. Give it up for Phil Johnson, everybody. I'm still my hosting fucking phase. My hosting.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna add in like a little clap.
I do. I have it here. See, I actually because I keep doing that. I actually have applause that I've added.
Yeah.
Wait, where's my soundboard here?
We need one of those toy microphones with the button on it. Where you step on the button.
Applause.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I lost. Oh, here it is.
It's not important.
There it is. Hey, all right. Give it up for him, everybody. There you go.
Now I feel welcome. I didn't feel welcome before that.
That's what we strive for.
Strive for greatness. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Cook that shit off. So what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to just stay creative and keep my eyes open and keep moving forward, man.
As we all are, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve, this is my co-host Steve. Steve's not a comedian, but he's a screenwiter. So he's,
Pleasure to meet you, Steve.
Nice to meet you.
But anyway, yeah, I was just telling.
You forgot director as well.
Oh, director. Sorry, excuse me.
Thanks for that.
Shame on you, Ryan.
But it seems like you've still been remaining pretty busy though. So how's that been going? What is it on the road? How is it on the road right now during this fucking pandemic?
Oh, there is no on the road. I haven't
are
been
you-
in front of a real audience since March. of
Really?
last year.
So, yeah. Okay. So then we're all in the same boat then, because
We're all
I
in
haven't.
the same
yeah.
boat. Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting here
I-
thinking because I keep seeing people doing stuff, but it's like, I mean, I
Like
don't
in
know.
Texas, right? Texas, Arizona.
Texas,
that's
well,
what's going-
even here in California, but you know, they're doing like these patio gigs or whatever,
Right.
and it's a lot of guys who are obviously like on a different level than I, but
I
don't
find there's two levels of people. There are people that they really do make their living as a comic, and that was the only income that they have, and so they've been dying to go back on the road so they can pay their bills. There's that level of comic.
Yeah.
And then there's the open micers who just feel the need to go out and talk into a microphone,
Yes.
even when they probably shouldn't be.
yes,
you know.
Yeah.
And so it's,
yeah.
I'm in the middle of those two. I have other sources of income, so I didn't need to be on the road, fortunately.
Yeah, same.
And,
well, same here, but I did because I was running so many other rooms. I mean, that was like my big. Those are my
Sure.
big paydays sometimes, you know.
Right.
I mean, it certainly helped. I mean, I was getting anywhere between like $100 to $300 a night by running these rooms, you know.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been brutal, really brutal. I mean, but yeah, I mean, same here. The last show I did was the Brea Improv, I think, in January of 2020.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even further back. Yeah, I did something in mid-March in Oakland, and then I had one other gig to book, and I brought up my Facebook thread with the guy that had booked it the other day, and my last message to him was, "Hey, man, do you mind if I skip the show tonight? Because I'm trying to not go out." He's like, "Yeah, no problem." That was the last time we talked.
Yeah, well, and that's what kept happening because that's what kept happening in February was gigs kept getting pushed or moved or whatever. People kept
Right.
canceling on my room, so I ended up just canceling all my shows altogether in February because no
Sure.
one wanted to come out. So
Yep.
I was like, all right, you know, and then
Yeah, but Phil. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask Phil. Like, so what have you been doing to stay creative then?
Well, I went into quarantine with a list of projects because I've always got a list of projects to be working on. And the first thing that I had to do was we had just finished filming a comedy special at the end of February. And so
nice.
I had to do all the post-production for that. So I spent, I don't know, it came out in November. So I spent a good 5-6 months just doing post-production on the special and getting that all put together and doing a lot of writing. I've already written a whole nother hour of stuff that I've been playing with online. And so that was a lot of that. And then digging back into writing music and getting that stuff recorded. So I've been recording a series of singles and things that are going to come out over 2021 here every 6 weeks or so.
So I've been staying busy.
Yeah. Very busy. Very
So
busy.
you just mentioned like you wrote a whole new hour.
Yeah.
Have you like where have you worked any of them out? Have you done like those Zoom shows?
Yeah, I've been doing the Zoom show. I've been doing the short sets, and then I put together a full-length, evening with Phil type of thing just for my fans. We had about 45 people there, and I said, this is not going to be polished. I'm going to run this brand new hour for you guys, and it actually went really well, better than I
nice.
thought it should have.
That's always good to-
And so,
I mean,
yeah, I've
that's-
got a couple of those things coming up.
That's nice when like, you know, it's a crowd that's there for you, you know, so you can actually, you know, they're gonna be nice to you no matter what, right?
Yeah, and it was funny because it was a combination of like people who have seen me for years, and like friends of my mom who always seem to show up, and
You can always
and then,
count
like,
on them.
Yeah, always.
Always count on them. And
Yeah.
then like people who had never seen me before but had just recently found me on Facebook or YouTube or something like that, and
Yeah.
they saw the thing and they came in and they were equally as enthused with the new material. So that was promising.
That's great. So where'd you do
Yeah.
that? Was that in because you're like in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, San Jose.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where you did it.
Yeah, right here in my music studio, my recording studio.
Oh,
here.
okay. I
Yeah.
see. Okay. That's cool, man. Yeah, I haven't done any of those Zoom shows. I did a private party.
Okay.
Like a few I don't know, what was it in the summer?
Yeah, nah. I think it was like in May, yeah, for Jingles.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, and that was about it.
Yeah.
And even that felt,
It's a weird medium. It's
Yeah.
a weird medium. The timing is all different.
yeah, it's so strange. So we just been doing this. I mean, Steve and I pretty much relaunched my podcast, and now we're we're in different areas now. I ended up having to move. So we're not even close to each other anymore. But this is the way it's been. I mean, I have another podcast too that I've been doing with my two other friends, and it's been this way. I mean, I've been talking to people on screens more than ever.
Yeah.
Dude, Zoom fatigue is real. It is
Yeah.
real.
It's bad, man. Like, we're supposed to talk to people in person. Like, yeah, you get to still see people and interact and have these social interactions, but it's just not the same. Not the
Right.
same.
Yeah, yeah. The show's a bit different. I also teach music. That's how I've been staying solvent. Well, we
Oh,
can't
wow.
do gigs.
Oh, well, there's-
and
yeah.
so I all my music students have been online as well, and so I'm spending 4 hours a day sometimes just staring into a camera and talking to
Yeah.
people, and it's a very weird way to live.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird because I'm on unemployment right now. So but I moved into a place where the guy who rents me the room, he wanted to start a podcast. So we have this like sunroom in the back that we've turned into a podcast studio. So
Nice.
so he still works a job. My other roommate does too. So I it makes me feel like I have that's my work, that's my job. You know what I mean? Like I have to
Okay,
get up and
yeah.
come in here and do something. Because
Yeah, right.
I've been in here working on shit pretty much throughout the week, and it's like it's all I have. It's all I have right now. So,
And having that thing to get out of bed for is so
oh
important.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, once we got some new equipment and everything, I mean, fuck, I was really feeling fucking really down and out. I mean, it was like I have no reason to get up. Like,
Yeah.
That's tough.
You know?
Yeah, it's the hardest part.
Yeah. But anyway, man, I was just telling Steve how we met, which was kind of cool. I was just thinking back on, man, I just love going down to San Diego and doing those shows. And Steve and I will always go down and travel there anyway, I mean, anytime I book a show, he'll come down and meet me or something, and we'll hang out for the weekend because we love it.
Any
down there
excuse
so
to go to
much.
San Diego, like,
Yeah.
I'll go. I love it down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we
Me
love
too.
it so
I
much.
love it too.
But yeah, it was just kind of crazy that I met you and Joe Sib together that same weekend.
Oh yeah, was that at
Madhouse.
it was at Madhouse. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. That's right. We were hanging out that
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is kind of funny that you hit me up because I was thinking of reaching out to Joe, and then it's just kind of weird, universal, full circle thing, right? Like
How funny.
yeah,
How funny. Joe's a great guy.
yeah. Well, he was supposed to do. That's another thing. I had Ice House shows set up, 3 Ice House shows set up in March, and Joe was
wow.
supposed to do one of them, and,
Yeah.
and everything got pushed back. That was supposed to be my birthday show, and yeah, everything got shut down in March. So
Yeah.
When's your
Then,
birthday in March?
28th.
28th. I'm on the other end of the month. I'm on the 2nd.
Oh, okay, cool. Pisces.
Pisces.
Pisces. Mars is in retrograde.
God.
must be why I'm such a bitch today. But fuck. Well, that's good that you had music to fall back on. You come from a music background. Did you grow up playing guitar, or how did all that start?
My first instrument was the flute, because my mom was like, "Hey, do you want music lessons? They're giving music lessons at school." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." And she goes, "Well, girls like musicians." And I was like, "Okay, I'm in." And 4th grade, I was on top of it. And
Yeah.
she said, "What instrument do you want to play?" And I was like, I don't know. And she goes, "Well, look, if you play the flute, you will always be the only boy in the section." And I was like, "All right, cool. That sounds good." And I was all the way through college.
Yeah.
I was. I never met another male flautist in any of the orchestras I played in. So I did that, and then I picked up piano when I was 11 or 12, and then I picked up guitar at 16,
Damn.
and then just went from there. Yeah,
So-
you get that guitar in your hands, and you're like, "Oh, I have a life now."
Yeah. I never played. I tried playing guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just don't have the patience for it. I don't know, because the drums came almost naturally to me. I don't know if I told you that.
I feel
but-
like, look, can we just pause for a second? Like, Ryan, you don't have a patience for a lot of things. Like if you can't pick up on it like right away and be somewhat decent with it, you're like, fuck this. I don't want to do this shit. I gotta learn. I gotta dedicate my time and
That's
practice.
not true.
Fuck
That's
that.
not
I want to
true.
be halfway good at something first and then just get better.
Well, I guess that is kind of true. I had a leg up in stand up, so that's why I ended up doing stand up because
Yeah.
I already had like stage training and stuff. So that's why I was like, I could do this. It's not so
That helps,
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with instruments though is that I tell this to people all the time. They're like, "Well, I don't have the drive to practice it." I'm like, "Try another instrument." Because
Yeah.
like me, I have no patience for the piano. I'll sit and play, but I have no patience for actually getting better at piano.
Yeah.
My brother is a pianist. That's his voice. That's what he does. And he plays lots of other things too, but that's his voice. For me, it's guitar. And so when I have like, a student who's like, I'm not really digging the piano or really digging this instrument, I go try another instrument until you find the one that
Yeah.
clicks for you.
Well,
But
and-
guitar, I can sit and play guitar all day.
But I think that's what goes into what a better way to say it, that what Steve's saying is is I think I resonate with certain things, and that's why I decided to pick it up. Like
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
drums, like I said, they kind of came naturally to me. It was like I played. How I got into drums was Rock Band was huge in 2006, right? So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So at some point I'd be going to parties and hanging out with people, and they'd be like, "Oh, Ryan plays on Expert on fucking Rock Band on drums." so they'd always have
Did
me
you-
play the drums.
Did you ever see the video of the guys from Rush trying to play their own songs on Rock Band?
No, that's
It's
hilarious. though.
hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Well, I will say, I mean, the most accurate thing on that game is the drums, though. I mean, guitar.
I
I
would
know.
imagine.
Guitar, I know. I mean, yeah. So when Guitar Hero Metallica came out, and it had the double kicks and. I mean, I was like, I'm playing these songs. Like, I could just,
This is transferred over.
yeah. So,
Totally.
yeah. So once, I mean, I could never afford drums growing up. So when we had my older brother and a friend of his, like, we're trying to jam out in the garage, and we had this piece of shit drum set in the garage, and that's when I just started doing it. And I bought my drum set piece by piece, one piece at a time, like the Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, there you go. I'll tell you the secret to getting a drum kit, like the one I have behind me here, is you hire a drummer in your band who lies to you a lot and then ends up in jail just after you've loaned him money
Yeah.
and took his drums as collateral, and then he ends up in jail and then never comes back for the drums.
Oh, well,
That's
there you
how I
go.
got
That's
mine.
There you go.
you
Perfect.
purchased
Yeah.
a drum set unwillingly, I guess.
Yeah,
He ended
find
up in
someone
jail.
unreliable.
Right, yeah. He
you go.
ended up in jail because he stole equipment from a studio down the hall from us, who happened to be friends of mine. He stole equipment
Wow.
from friends of mine, yeah. And so the guy that I knew from the other band, I said, "Can he come?" And he just came into my studio and he went, "Okay, that piece is mine and that piece is mine." I was like, "Those are yours, and I'm keeping the rest." I said, "Did I get a good deal? I gave him $300 for this," and he goes, "Yeah, actually, it's a pretty good deal." So I got a drum kit,
There you
and
go.
I've
There
had
you
it
go,
for
man.
years now. Yeah.
That's great. So, I imagine you played in a lot of bands before you actually started doing comedy.
Sort of. I played in a lot of versions of one band, honestly,
Okay.
because I started. Roadside Attraction is the name of my band, and we had a couple other names early on, but Roadside Attraction is what we've gone by for years and years. And the different people have cycled in and out of the band. I'm the only original member left, as if that meant anything for a band that nobody knows.
Yeah.
But it became my band rather than a band of equal parts. It became me and hired guns.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the way we run things now. And I still do. I release all the music as now Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction, because I need both my name out there and the band name so that I don't lose my trademark on it. If I stop using it, I'll lose my trademark on the band name. So
Got it.
now all the music comes out as Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction.
So what was the transition to start doing like stand-up gigs?
I had a mentor named Tim Sweeney in the music industry years ago. He's passed on since. And he was always encouraging me to go solo. First of all, I had just rebuilt my band again with all new players. And I said, "Tim, I got the best band in the world. They are amazing. I love these guys." He goes, "Great, go solo." And I was like, "No, you gotta be kidding me."
Yeah.
He said, "Just trust me." He said, "Go solo." And so I said, "All right, I'll do half band gigs, half solo gigs." And that lasted like 6 months later. I was doing all solo gigs, because it's just easier to not have to. I had 7, 8 guys in my band. We had a horn section and percussion and the whole thing. So it was a big band to wrangle, you know. And when we play now, yeah, exactly. When we play now,
it's hard enough to get a drummer to show up on time.
Oh yeah. The drummer I have now is amazing. He's fantastic. He's an actual real human being. And so Joe's great. But yeah, so I had my mentor encouraging me to do some solo stuff. And then early on with him, we were at a convention that he had put on in Las Vegas, and one night all the musicians were sitting around the pool just kind of playing songs for each other. And I played them a song called Whale Blubber, which is a love song. And they were like, the next morning they were like, "Oh, that's funny. We can't get that Whale Blubber song out of our head. You should be doing that." And I was a serious songwriter. I was like, no.
Yeah.
That's B-side stuff. That's ridiculous. And they're like, seriously, we can't get the stupid Whale Blubber song out of our head. And they're like, that's what you should be doing. And so I got hooked up with a friend of mine in Los Angeles who was doing comedy music at the time, and we did some stuff together. But my first comedy gig was at the Hyena Theater in San Francisco. They were doing a musical comedy night, and they invited me to come do it. And it was my first comedy gig officially. I had 3 songs and I did those, and I have the recording of that show, and it's horrendous to listen to.
Yeah.
But I lived on those 3 songs. The MC, at that Hyena Theater show, the MC saw my act, and she was like, "Hey, I need a guitar player for my show for this thing we're doing." And she invited me to come play guitar in her show. Her name's Lynn Ruth Miller. She's in London now. She's got to be... Gosh, she's got to be 87, 88 years old, something like that now.
Wow.
She was, because she was the old lady comic of our crew back then. But she said, "Look, we're going to do this thing where you play Anarchy in the UK by the Sex Pistols, and I'm going to throw lingerie at the audience." And I was like, cool, I'm in. And it was hilarious. It was so fun. And so we did that. And then she started introducing me to people in the comedy community here in the Bay Area and going, "He's got some stuff, put him up. He's got some stuff, put him up." And I initially caught all the guitar comic flack.
That's what I was about to get. That's what I was about to get into.
Got all that stuff because I had just fallen into it. I didn't think I was going to be doing comedy. So I did eventually go, well, if I'm going to do this, I should learn how to do this. And I started really putting time in on, I didn't take comedy classes per se, but I just started reading books and started writing jokes. I always loved stand-up. I just never thought I'd be doing it. So I had it in my head, and I just started writing and writing and writing and writing. And part of it came from when I did first start doing solo gigs. I was coffee houses and things like that. And I had a bad habit of forgetting the lyrics to my songs. And so I started cracking jokes every time I would introduce a song or forget the lyrics or, and that just became part of the show where I was cracking jokes. So then it just became a matter of pre-writing the jokes. And it started to become a stand-up set,
Right.
So that's kind of where it was all an accident that just kind of snowballed all of a sudden.
Wait, so where do you think the flack comes from other comics like hating on musical stand-up?
Some people have told me, they go, "It's cheating." I'm like, there's no such thing as cheating in comedy. It's you use all the tools that you have available to you. But I think part of it is when I see somebody do something in their act that I can't do with either I can't, skillfully do, or I can't do just because of the persona I have on stage, then I go, I wish I could do that. And I think it's a little bit of I wish I could do that, They always say nobody likes to follow the guitar comic, and I get that because we leave the room at another level, but it's actually great to follow a good guitar comic because we leave the room up here.
Yeah.
And they're primed for whatever comes next.
I think
I've had headliners go, "I don't want to go on after what you just did." And I'm like, just go up and try it. And you'll see. And they're like, "Oh, wow, that was fantastic." So it's a myth.
I think a lot of it is just, some people, it all depends though. I like, because there are some comics that I've seen that seem to have the guitar almost like a crutch. It's not really like that, and I think that's where a lot of people kind of just like give that they prejudge your act just based on the fact that you have a guitar, because there are a lot of people who kind of use it as some sort of, it's like their material's not that great, and then but they play guitar.
So they'll strum and do one-liners.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just kind of, and it's just like some background noise just to kind of keep them pandering, And,
but why hate on the guitar comic though? There's so many different hacky, just regular stand-up comics.
Well, they hate on all of them.
You're
I did
telling
a
me
show
I'm-
one night. I did a show one night where I was headlining. The feature act was a ventriloquist,
Oof.
and I think the MC did some juggling. And I'm like, purists' heads are
Oh my God,
exploding right now.
Like, what fucking circus show did I just walk into?
I,
That motherfucker juggling.
you couldn't
She
pay
was playing the
you
guitar.
could not pay me to sit through a ventriloquist act, dude. I swear. I don't see. I mean, because I fall into that purist category sometimes. You know, I don't know. There's something about like, man, there was this guy that would do fucking. He would do terrible magic and terrible jokes, and he was like a you know, super Latin comic, right? So like, he was horrible. I mean, but like people loved him, and it would drive me fucking insane because I'm just like this. I'm like it was just the most hackneyed fucking material.
All I can think of right now, you're saying he's one of those hacky Mexican comics, and he did like magic.
And he
so he's
did
like,
terrible
I'm
magic.
I'm gonna pull a chihuahua out of sombrero.
Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, I mean,
It's like,
it was shit like that. I mean, no,
Yeah.
it was worse than that. If he pulled a live animal out of something, that would have been fucking better. You know, like
Yeah.
at least that would have been a little impressive. But my God, dude, it was just the most like fucking the most you know surface level like sleight of hand and shit. You know, it was just the most annoying. And like I remember having to host a show with this guy one time too, and it was like it was a bar gig, and I was just kind of waiting for more people to show up, and he's just like, there are 2 people here, we should just start the show. Like I'm like, relax, man, like just chill out. Let me get at least 3 more in here before we start. I'm like, if you want to do your shitty magic to those 2 people, I guess go ahead. You know.
The way I always think about it is that there's, at any given time, there's 20% of comedians that are going to be worthwhile to see. Out of all the comics that are out there, 20% of them are going to be good and worthwhile to see. Just like
Yeah.
20% of anything is going to be, you know, 20% of the painters are going to be good and worthwhile to look at, right? So when you deal with ventriloquists or musical comics or any sort of the niche comedy acts, there's just a smaller pool to pick from. So, you know, if there's 1 million stand-ups, there's 100, you know, musical comics, and so that 20% is a much smaller pool, and so your chances of catching that one is smaller than, you know, you can see great stand-ups any given night of the week, but that's because there's 1 billion stand-ups to pick from.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where we run into it, is that there's a lot of terrible musical comedy out there, but it's easier to run into than bad stand-up or something that has a larger pool to draw from.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's way more bad stand up than good stand up for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But then some of the most brilliant stand ups are the ones that are bad, that know that are like that purposely being bad. You know, for this, you know what I mean?
Well,
It's
that's
like,
a skill in itself.
yeah.
that's
So, I mean, it's
skill
a
in
fucking
itself.
art form. Sometimes, I've seen so many people be able to do that, and I'm like, man, to like. It's like the art of bombing, really. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, yeah. So I'd imagine, yeah. Anyway, so I was gonna bring that up, the whole flack about all that stuff, yeah, because I've seen plenty of. But I love the one-liner guys too. They get a lot of hate in the fucking in the comedy world, but like I could not imagine writing that many jokes to fill up that long a time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, like
That's a
I do
lot of
more
writing.
I do more storytelling stuff, which draws out like, you know, a few minutes. But these dudes are doing, you know, set up punch, set up punch for 20 fucking minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's I enjoy a great one-liner comic. It's hard to do. I mean, that is just a ton of new ideas.
Yeah.
Because we can write longer bits because it's the same idea. We're just building on it.
Yeah.
But one-liners, it's like, okay, 30 seconds later, I need a new idea. You know, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. Yeah. So I got like a greater deal of respect for those one-liner guys than I mean I got a greater deal of respect for a lot of different, you know, like niche comics and stuff for when I started doing it. You know, I really stopped hating and just mostly just being like, well, I just can't do it, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
like you know, impressions and stuff like that, singing.
Sure, I'm terrible at those.
Yeah, I mean, I do terrible impressions, but that's what makes them funny.
Yeah.
Right.
How bad they are.
Yeah, because they're terrible.
I was doing a writing session with a friend of mine yesterday, and he goes, "Are you going to do an accent on this one joke?" And I was like, "No, because I'm terrible at
Yeah.
accents." I said, "I kind of do like a really vague accent that just means it's not me, it's somebody else. But you could never place that as an accent from any person.
But why not give it a shot and then see where, I don't know, because then you can make
what happens.
then you can make fun of the fact that you're so bad at it, and then it becomes a whole other thing. It kind of takes life. Like I had a bit where I was and it was an accidental thing. I was, it's a bit about chivalry, and I was talking about Knights of the Round Table, and I was trying to do an English accent, and it somehow came out like fucking Bostonian. And so I was just like, oh, that's just how I'm gonna do it from now on, like that.
With Bill Burr as Hamlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so you never really actually did you do like road gigs just as a band, being on the
Oh sure, yeah.
Slapped them in a van and.
Yeah, we didn't tour extensively. Nevada, I think, was the farthest we ever drove as a band. But we would do stuff up and down California. I think we might have done some stuff in Oregon. We had a horrendous road gig to Reno years and years ago that we had booked this gig, and we packed everything in our van. And we had we had a van, we had a trailer, and all the gear was in the trailer. We were in the van. We had this really nice van, and we're driving, and the van starts overheating.
Oh shit!
And so we pull over, like all the fluids are good, and we can't figure out why it's overheating. So we let it cool down. We get back in. It's overheating again. We go, a few miles, the thing would overheat again. And so it's taking us forever to get to Reno, which should be about a 4-hour drive from where we are. And to the point where we're like, we're going to be late for the gig. And we had left early that morning. And so my singer and I had a singer at the time in the band, and we hitchhiked into Reno. With this really nice couple who drove very slowly, and we're like, "Come on, we're gonna be." And so we finally get there, and we go, "Look, the rest of the band's gonna be here. There's a tow truck bringing our van and our trailer into Reno, and we're gonna do this gig." And we were the only band on for the night. It was like a 4-hour, 4 sets a night at a strip club that did bands on the weekends. So the stage had a pole
Reno.
in the middle.
Yep.
We had a pole in the middle of the stage.
Yeah.
And we get there. And we get set up, and we start into our set. There's 8 people in the crowd. It's just one of those nights, and this is like a Saturday night. It was ridiculous. And so we're playing, and then all of a sudden this huge crowd walks in, and the place is bouncing, and we're killing. I'm playing the solos, doing the whole thing, and then all of a sudden the entire crowd leaves, and we go, "What happened?" And the guy goes. The manager goes, "They were all underage. They weren't allowed to be in here." I was like, "You got to be kidding me." The place was packed for 10 minutes. And so we finished this 4-hour set. It's just depressing as can be. And then we find out that the bar is docking our pay because my bass player drank too much. So now we're getting stiffed on part of our pay.
What?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was sloshed. He was gone. And
wait, they're docking your they weren't docking your pay because he drank over the tab, but because he was drunk.
No, because he drank over the tab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he drank our entire tab.
Okay.
And he was totaled. He was also out of the band very quickly after that. And so we had planned to stay at my roadie's ex-girlfriend's house while we were there. This was low budget touring, right? We were couch surfing. So we pull up at this chick's house, and we walk in, and we go, "Hey, Johnny, why does it smell like pee in here? It smells considerably of pee." And he's like, "I didn't mention she's got a little bladder problem." And we're like, "Dude, you've got to be kidding me." So we said, "We're not."
Sounds like a big bladder problem.
No, I'm sleeping in the van.
Yeah.
Dude, the house smelled like she had 1,000 cats.
How old is she?
A full-grown adult. And
oh my god.
Yeah, but not
were a thing. They had depends.
But not too old.
So
but not too old.
We said, not too old. Yeah. We said we're not staying here, and because my parents had actually gone up with us, and they were staying at like Circus or something like that because they wanted to see the show. My parents are very very supportive of the whole thing, and so my dad is like, "Just come to the hotel with us, and you guys can crash in our hotel room,"
Damn.
And yeah, they're very super cool about the whole thing, and so my drummer, he goes, "I'm gonna stay at the house, and we're like, what? Why would you do that? And he goes,
Piss fetish.
he goes, the girl's mom kind of digs me. We're like, dude, Ralph, you gotta be kidding me.
No.
So he actually stayed behind.
Was that the drunk guy?
No, this was the drummer, the sex fiend of the band.
Oh.
And so
See,
he stayed behind.
because you just described two different people that would have been me in that band.
The drunk and the sex fiend.
The drunk
we
and
had
the
them as
sex
separate
fiend, yeah.
people.
I mean, if I get drunk, you can't smell the pee, so like, I'll be fine. Just leave me here.
So he stayed behind at the pee house to sleep with the girl's mom. The rest of us went to Circus to crash with my parents. And I said, I'm gonna gamble a little bit. I gotta blow off some steam after this horrendous day, so I'm gonna play some blackjack. And so me and the singer and the bass player, we played a little blackjack, and they were like, "All right, we're getting tired. We're gonna go sleep." So they head up to my parents' room to sleep. I ended up playing blackjack until 7 a.m. And
Happens sometimes.
Because I hadn't even taken my stage clothes off. I was still dressed in my stage clothes,
Yeah.
playing blackjack, making friends with people at the table. I was just like, I can't, we know. So my dad comes down, he goes, "Have you been to sleep?" And I said, "Nope." And he goes, "All right, well, we got to get back in the van and drive back to San Jose now." And so we collect all the guys from the various places, and my singer is hitting on one of the dealers. He's like, "I think she likes me." I'm like, "No, she doesn't.
No,
She's
no.
trying to get you to stay at the roulette table."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, I got this." He goes, "I have this stack of chips." I said, "Just put it all on black and we'll go." He puts it all on black. It comes up black. He doubles his money. I said, "Let's get the hell out of here." We get back in the van, which immediately starts overheating again.
Yeah.
And because we have not figured out what's going on. So we're driving, it's overheating. We're like, we're just going to take all day to get home. And then we go, "Hey, you know what? Let's put some of the gear in the van. We'll take it out of the trailer and put it in the van." And that was it. That was the magic bullet. We cruised all the way home. It didn't overheat
Really?
a single time.
What
It's
the
never
hell?
overheated since. I still have the van. That was it. That whole first day could have been alleviated if we took a couple amps out and put them in the van instead of the trailer. It was the stupidest trip I have ever been on.
Yeah.
With the exception of a Tribble run in Montana. That might have been stupider. But yeah.
A
Well,
triple
that
run
was-
in
yeah.
Montana.
Let's hear about the Tribble run in Montana.
Did you ever do a Tribble run?
I've never done a Tribble run. However, I know much about them.
Wait. What is a triple run?
Okay, so a Tribble, there's a guy named David Tribble who books. He doesn't book much
Tribble
anymore. I think he's only
Tribble,
Tribble. Like in Star Trek, right? Trouble with Tribbles. That's his last
Yeah.
name.
Okay.
And every comic has a Trouble with Tribble story. And and so he books these
Yeah, can you imagine why I never wanted to do
mostly.
one?
Yeah, it's mostly one-nighters. Some of the gigs are crazy good, and a lot of them are horrible gigs. But you have to do the horrible ones to get to the good ones because it's on the way. On the way meaning it's 6 hours away. Yeah. And he doesn't actually book that much anymore. He books one club in Washington, and I think he's pretty much
So that's actually another
besides that.
reason why I never did it yet. Was by the time I was actually feeling like I could go and do feeling confident enough to go out and do road gigs like that. He was already pretty much out of the game.
Yeah.
He did like two
Yeah.
places in Montana or some shit.
Right, yeah, he lives in an RV, and he and his wife just travel. They're both super nice people. They're great
Yeah.
folks. And so it was a Montana run, and the gal opening for me, it was her first road gigs. She was going out to open for me, and most of the gigs were okay. And then we played in Billings, Montana, I think it was. Yeah, Billings, Montana. Great show. We had a good time. And then the next night was in Glasgow, Montana, which should have been about a 3-hour drive, except for it was snowing sideways the entire time.
Yeah.
We slid off the road twice. I got a ticket. It took us 7 hours to get there. And it was so dark. By the time we were almost there, it was so dark I couldn't see anything out of my front windshield. I was literally driving by the green line on my GPS to know where the road was.
That is so terrifying. Yeah, if I've had to do that, I've been there too, man. It's fucking scary.
Yeah. And so we finally got there. Fortunately, there was an audience, but it was a harrowing drive to get there. I was like, if there's no audience, I'm going to kill somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think people really understand. I guess a lot of people from California don't really understand like what real dark is. Like once you get out in the country, like real country in the Midwest and things like that. There's no street lights. There's no nothing. It's just darkness.
Yeah. It's you and the fucking lines. That's it.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
And my headlights weren't even penetrating the snow. It was crazy. I told the audience, I said, you guys, I got to Glasgow, Scotland in less time than it took me to get to Glasgow, Montana today.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Nope.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah. Okay, so you brought up I wanted to talk about this. You brought up having supportive parents. So you have any siblings?
I do. Yeah, I have a younger brother. He's 3 years younger, and he's a musician. And he was an actor for a while. He moved to. This is how supportive my parents are. He moved to L.A. at 15 to be an actor because he already had an agent and a manager and some gigs. So he went down there and he did some TV shows and some Roger Corman films and some commercials and things like that.
Oh shit! He did a Corman film.
Yeah, he did Carnosaur 2.
Really?
He's the only one left alive at the end of the film. My mother was thrilled. And he did another one called Demolition Day that had it was like a sort of a comedy action.
Wait, hang on a second.
Film. Yeah,
I think somebody's here. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Talk amongst yourselves. My next guest is here. Hold on.
Yeah. Well, he was talking about supportive parents, but like 15, like where were you guys staying at before?
We grew up in San Jose here.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And so he had met this. He was taking some acting classes up here for fun, and the lady that was teaching the classes. She ended up being his manager, and she ended up bailing later because she was also managing Alicia Silverstone. They both came up at the same time.
Oh wow!
And they were friends, and Alicia hit, and she kind of bailed on all
Had
her
her.
other clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my brother he got away from acting and ended up going back into music, and now he writes for theater. He writes like theater scores and things like that.
That's awesome.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
really cool.
he's been doing quite a bit of that, and he writes like big choral scores and for competitions and things. So he's very talented. Yeah,
That's great. Yeah, I mean, that's what. So you kind of had Did people give you shit about like having it kind of easy for having like such supportive parents and getting you more invested in the arts, like growing up and stuff like that, kind of having a leg up when you really got into this field?
Yeah, I don't know if I've caught shit for it, but people are usually like, my dad goes to a ton of my shows, especially here in the Bay Area. He'll travel with me sometimes, but certainly here in the Bay Area, most of the comics know my dad. And
Really?
And to the point where they'll come off stage and walk up to my dad and go, "I tried that new tag tonight. Do you think I should flip the wording on it?" And my dad's like, "Yeah, maybe flip the wording on it."
Yeah, that's great.
Where they'll ask him for advice because
Yeah.
he's seen everybody's act so many times.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always like a kind of a back and forth with my parents. My stepdad was like a real, hardworking American and shit, and
Okay.
and my mom was always really embracive about, I was just thinking about this the other day. I was watching Batman the animated series, and I was thinking about my mom because I was like, my mom really, really embraced like our interests growing up. Like she was always like on top, like on point on everything we liked and stuff like that, and what we were into, and so I was always into. I like to do sketches a lot, so I wanted to be like a cartoonist at first. That was gonna be I was gonna draw comic books. That's what I wanted to do. And so like they were always buying me new, kits for drawing and shit like that. And but then, as I got older, eventually it was, my stepdad was always like, "Well, what are you gonna do to pay the bills, man?" Like, so it was like he was like that harsh reality, whereas my mom was kind of just like, "Yeah, do you? You're an artistic person. That's where you're destined to be." So they would always have this kind of back and forth, like, why you gotta. My mom, they would kind of fight about it. My mom would be like, "Why you trying to shatter his dreams?" And he's like, "Well, he's got to learn how to be a fucking adult," which I think was kind of good because I learned both things. I learned the importance of what it's like to chase your dreams, but then also not give up your fucking responsibilities.
Yeah. You go too far in either direction, and it all falls apart.
Problem.
So yeah. My parents taught us how to be adults too. We were early on cooking. My mom taught us how to type, when we were kids, things like this. She's like, these are skills you're going to need. But they were also, very supportive of the whole thing. My dad was a folk singer in the 60s. So we got that from that side of the family. My mom played a little like
there you go.
guitar when she was younger. So it that kind of stuff does run in the family a little bit. And so they were
Don't you think
happy to see us do
Don't
that.
you think there's some sort of like rhythm that is just almost, it's like hereditary? Like you can't teach it, you know what I mean? Like there's some people who just have this comedic timing or rhythm to music that just
I would say that, except for my dad has terrible rhythm.
really,
Yeah.
really, but he's a musician.
Yeah, he was a singer, and he played a little bit of bass. He claimed he played bass until I took him to see Brian Setzer play one night, and it was the trio. It wasn't Lee Rocker playing the bass. I can't remember who it was, but my dad was watching Brian Setzer's bass player, and he went, "Oh, I'm never going to say I was a bass player ever again."
Right.
That's what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
He was a singer, and he was a great singer. He had a really nice voice for that old folk music stuff, and so he was great for that. But yeah, his rhythm is terrible. We actually had him try to play. We were recording a Christmas single years ago, and we had him try to play the Jingle Bells on it. Could not do it. Could not do it.
No, that's funny.
crazy.
But what about your mom? Your mom was a musician?
Yeah, a little bit. She played Hawaiian slack key guitar when she was younger, and actually taught for a while. We still have her steel guitar, and it's a 1968. 64 or 68 Fender double neck steel guitar, and I've never seen another one like it. We can't even find anybody to tell us how much it's worth. We've seen a lot of single neck ones, but not the double neck, and it's in pristine condition. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, I still have that.
So where is your family originally from?
We grew up in San Jose here in the Bay Area, and I live 6 blocks from my parents. They live 6 blocks that way. But my mom's from New Jersey originally. My dad is from North Dakota originally, so we've got family in both of those places out there. But yeah, they came to California when they were kids. And yeah, so we're a California family for sure.
So, when you were growing up, did you ever? I know you're right there in the Bay Area. The thrash metal scene. Were you ever like? Oh
yeah.
Were you going?
Yeah.
Were you? Did you ever? Yeah. Tell me about some of those like gnarly shows you ever got to go to.
I was a little bit young to really catch that early scene. I really wish. I mean, to see Metallica at the Omni or someplace like that early on would have been fantastic. I didn't really catch it until high school, so I was about 5 years too late to really catch. They were already huge by that point. But I had a friend named Neil in high school who would go, this is the album you got to listen to. And it'd be like a Death Angel record or Queensryche record or something like that. And so Neil turned me on to all sorts of stuff. And yeah, total metalhead as a teenager for sure. And, my parents were not into that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my mom would listen to an Ozzy Osbourne song and go, okay, I think I kind of get it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And my dad liked Queensryche,
Yeah.
And, or at least said he did. I bought him a Queensryche album for Christmas, and he was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
But, when I was a kid, because you're like, oh, you liked it. And he's like, Now more so, I took him to see, do you know who Lyrics Born is, the rapper?
No.
Oh, okay. Bay Area rapper, amazing. He's one of my favorite rappers. This guy's fantastic. And we were listening to him in the car one day, headed to a gig. My dad goes, I really like this guy. He's got some cool stuff. And I said, cool. We're going to go see him next time he's in town, because he plays all over the world. And so I took my dad for his 74th birthday to go see his first hip-hop show.
Yeah.
And,
How do you like
he
that?
was like, yeah, and he was like, this is awesome. And then I'm acquainted with Lyrics Born. We're not friends, but I'm acquainted with him. And I walked up, and Lyrics Born goes, "Oh, cool, dude, you made it." And he was like, my dad goes, "You know him?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh yeah, we go way back.
so it was great.
Yeah.
We took a picture and the whole thing, So yeah, my dad and I, we've always bonded on that music stuff. And but yeah, I did come up in the metal thing. I grew up on my parents' 50s and 60s rock. I studied classical music all the way through, playing in orchestras in middle school and high school, and I studied jazz in college for my degree. And so there's not much I don't get my hands on after a while.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you feel about trying to stay current with music? Because I have a hard time sometimes, like trying to fucking, because it used to be so easy to at least to come across things that were new. You know what I mean? Like now it's just it's so oversaturated. Everyone's on. It's kind of hard to come across something that you might like. Like, what do you do to try and actually stay on top of things? I mean, are you?
Yeah, my girlfriend and I were discussing this last night, actually, because we were talking about the inauguration concert, and she had watched it while I was teaching some lessons, and she goes, "Do you want to see it?" And I was like, "Well, who played?" And she's like, "Oh, Katy Perry, Justin Timberlake, John Bon Jovi." I was like, I think I can pass.
Yeah.
I said, "How was Springsteen?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, that's the only one I was interested in." So
No.
I said, "I'll pass." She goes, "You're so close-minded. You don't like anything that's mainstream." And I'm like, "I know. I've listened to all those people, and I've seen them, do concert. I I don't need to hear it. I know
Yeah.
what they're gonna
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You know, I want new stuff. So I think the algorithms are really getting better. I use YouTube Music and Spotify sometimes, and the Discover Weekly playlist, or the Discovery playlist, often yield some cool stuff. I found a whole bunch of bands recently that
Yeah, I use the same thing. I think a lot of it comes down to it's just kind of like a comfort thing. 'Cause when you open Spotify and stuff, you have all these choices and all the things you've never seen or heard before that you can
Right.
try out, or you go by what you're used to and what you like listening to. It's kind of like why The Office got so big, like on Netflix. Is like,
Yeah.
should you watch something new, or now I'll rewatch The Office for the 10th time?
Yeah.
And there's like a bunch of stuff on there. It's like you're not even trying. Like, it takes a little bit of effort, but it's there. You just gotta actually just like fuck it, like Discovery. Show
Yeah,
me something
but it's
new.
not like
Yeah.
well, oh shit. But see, the thing is, since everything's like on demand at your fingertips, it's kind of hard to come across something that you're kind of forced to listen to or watch. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, because you go back to what you've already listened to, but they
Well,
have.
but
like,
also because we're not watching TV anymore or listening to the radio anymore. The way like they would just play things that were new that you might like, but
Yeah.
but they're just playing them at random. You know what I mean? Like so, like there'd
Yeah,
be this
you
new.
don't
So
really
like
know.
there'll be a new show after the show that you already watch, and if it just
Yeah.
comes on the TV, you're gonna watch it.
Yeah. Well, my thing is different. Like when it comes to like music, especially because I was always like, even in high school, like when MySpace was a thing, I wanted to find new music. So I'm like, what do? I go to the MySpace music page, and I would just like look at like the UK page of music,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
there's a list of all these bands and things I've never heard of, and then I would look them up and listen to them, and then just like that's how I found new. So. Like
Yeah.
things like that, like I just think it's easier now, but you have to actively want to,
Yeah.
like,
right.
I feel like there's
I'm
not
gonna
a lot
listen
of.
to a playlist full of people I don't know, and maybe something might stick. And that's what you kind of have to do now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you said, it's been what's been actually going on for me that I've been getting a lot of new suggestions is my Google Pod on YouTube. It plays YouTube music, so I just kind of I'll say just play music, and it'll play shit that it just thinks I would like,
Yeah.
So which is pretty cool because I've come across a few groups that I had never even heard of that Google just gave to me,
Yeah. Yeah,
kinda
that's
crazy.
the same thing. Yeah. And I found stuff where I go, oh, this is amazing. How have I never heard this? But I also like going back to find, like, there's bands that I liked years ago, and I'll look in their profile. Oh, they've released 7 albums
Right.
since the
Yeah.
last time I
Right.
engaged
Yeah.
with this band.
Yeah.
I just spent like a week and a half listening to LA Guns because they put out like a zillion albums since I last engaged with that band, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna listen to LA Guns for a week and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like still active. I had the
Yeah.
same thing happen like a year ago with Hoobastank. I had like Hoobastank popped in my head one day randomly, and I'm like, oh fuck! I used to listen to this one song about Hoobastank all the time, and I looked them up, and I'm like, they're still fucking touring.
Yeah.
During COVID, I'm like, holy fuck! Like Hoobastank's still on the road.
Buck
Like,
Cherry has a festival.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Buck Cherry has like a festival in like Virginia or some shit. Have you ever seen these?
Crazy.
I mean, and there's
No,
there's
you
tens of
told me about
thousands of people there, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make
That's the
sense.
thing is they get that pod of fans. Like 311 is like that. Pearl Jam is like that.
Well, 311 's
where they've
pretty-
got their fans, and the rest of the world barely knows they exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean, even
Yeah.
as much people like to make fun of Nickelback. Nickelback has some like big,
Yeah.
like
Rabid.
hardcore fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
yeah,
It's-
yeah. I know. They're just an easy target. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
You
not.
listen to one band in high school and then you just never change.
They're not. They're
This is just me now.
they're not. They're not that bad a band, I guess. But
No, they're not.
But it's just cheese lyrics, It's just
Yeah.
it's an easy target. I don't know why no one's attacking these fucking pop punk bands, man. They're like in their 40s now. And they're singing about the same girl in high school. I'm just like, God, and that whole thing is like really starting to. There's like a revival happening on like TikTok and YouTube and shit with all these
Pop punk bands?
these pop punk and emo things are just. It's like these trends are
Machine Gun
huge
Kelly.
right now. I'm like I hated it then, I hate it now, and they're like.
Yeah.
They're like, emo's not dead. I'm like, fucking please kill it with fire. Why?
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
I thought we were over this. It went away for 10 fucking years.
Did you hear about the sea shanty trend on TikTok
Yeah.
that's happening?
What is
Yeah, I
that?
started seeing
So
that.
weird.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, I
don't-
just read about that. So sea shanties, like old sailor songs, it's the weirdest thing. So I a couple years ago, I had a podcast about pirates, and it was very very niche. And I was getting deep into the pirate community, and so sea shanties are big. All the pirate bands do sea shanties and things
Right,
like that.
right,
So I
right,
knew
right.
a lot of that stuff, and I was emceeing at the festivals and things. And just recently, the other night, they're like, "Oh yeah, sea shanties are blowing up on TikTok." I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me! How is that really
What?
songs from 300-400 years ago are blowing up on TikTok? That's so
Yeah.
weird."
Huh.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I've got so many bands I need to tell about this. Hey, you need to be on TikTok right now because
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is what you do."
Well, yes.
And they talked to the guy who kind of like started it, and the first song he put out I wasn't familiar with, and he's like, and then my second song was Drunken Sailor, and I'm like, Drunken Sailor is like the brown-eyed girl of sea shanties, like you never want to hear it again.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, what do you do with the Drunken Sailor? Da, 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 da. You know, and I was like, of course
Yeah.
it's Drunken Sailor. Like every shanty band does a version of Drunken Sailor,
Right.
And but it was just such a weird thing to pop,
Yeah.
and I was like, I wish I was still doing the podcast because I
Oh,
would
yeah, it would
absolutely.
blow up.
I would do a couple of episodes at least talking to shanty bands and try and connect into that. But
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Just
comes
missed the
like
boat,
I
so
don't
to
know
speak.
where these trends are coming from. It's so funny to me because like when I saw the sea shanty thing on TikTok, I was so fucking confused because it was just scrolling up and it was 3 black teens, these teenagers in this car, and they're singing sea shanties. And I'm like, none of this goes together. Like, what is happening? What is happening? And then so I went on the hashtag and there's all these people just singing sea shanties. I'm like, I mean, this is cool, but like, how did this happen? Like, why is
Yeah.
everybody into this now?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so weird. The conjecture in the article that I saw was that sea shanties are just they're sort of a balm for the soul because they're rhythmically simple, they're melodically simple. They were like people just want something simple and nice right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
it makes sense. Oh,
You made
man.
a little bit of sense.
It
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
other than that, I have no idea. I just thought that was very bizarre
All right.
to have that pop. But yeah, I know
Yeah.
a lot of shanty bands who are going to be busy.
Well, Phil, I think we're gonna wrap it there. I got I got a
man.
full house over here, so we got to move on to the next one. But thank you so much for coming on. I'm happy
for
to hear
having
from
me.
you. This was a lot of fun. Maybe one of these days, if you're ever passing through, we can have you in studio. We got a whole multicam setup in here that would be fun
Love
to use
to.
and
Love
have you on.
to. As soon
Maybe
as
we
we're
can even
allowed
get
to be
you to
around
play
people.
play some songs live or something like that too. Next
For sure,
when
yeah.
when things are back to a bit of normal, you know.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
absolutely.
these vaccines rolled out.
Yeah. But
Yep.
all right, man. Well, thank you so much.
Wait. Yeah, Phil, you got to plug your stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sure. Yeah.
You and find you, and yeah.
Yeah, PhilJohnsonComedy.com is the place to get all the stuff, including my new special called Burning Sensation, and Phil Johnson Comedy at Facebook, Instagram, and those are the places.
All right,
you
man.
go.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Phil, for coming on. Thanks, Steve, for being here again.
Yeah.
So that is it. I'm going to end the broadcast, and then I'll give you a proper farewell. Goodbye.